All right, we're live here. So hello, everybody. My name is Dan. Welcome to the live stream. And today we have Cryptopro here. He does a lot of really good technical analysis on his channel. He does a lot of collectible trading and things like that. So Cryptopro, thank you for joining me.
Or you can call me Carlton if you want.
Carlton.
But I am your Cryptopro. Oh, hold on a second. I need to pull up something very quick for a proper introduction here. Let's see here. One moment, please.
Yeah, I'll take some comments here. So we have Jace. Jace says, let's go. Oh, you're Jason Kalan. You do the OMI wallet rankings. Man.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll actually put it down below because he does a really good job kind of categorizing where we're at. Actually, I might just share that. That'd be pretty cool. But
yeah, please do. I would be very interested in that. Absolutely.
Okay. Sure. We got Death Games.
Here's my audio.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlton Flowers, your Cryptopro. Did the yeah come out? I don't know if the yeah came out. That's the yeah at the beginning of all my videos, which I just did like off the top of my head one day. I thought, let me throw this little John yeah in here. It's just an audio package from the place that I buy audios. I did that one time, and on the next video, I didn't. And everyone said, where's the yeah? So all of a sudden, that became my normal intro. So I have to have that little John yeah after my name.
Yeah, I'll share with you. I'll share Jason Kalan's thing here. Where did it go here? Here we go. Jason Kalan. Check him out on Twitter. Do you have a Twitter, by the way?
Yes. It is at Carlton F, at CARLTONF. And so Jason's is...
It's Jason Colon, basically.
Okay.
I guess I call him Kalan for some reason. But yeah, so if you look at my screen here, he has the percentile rankings. He updates it kind of as needed. But it's interesting because, you know, if the top 1%, you would think would be a lot of OMI, but it's actually like 23 million OMI. So, you know, most people, they're trying to get at least 1 million. I think that's a good amount to have. That's like the top 15%. So actually just shows us we're really, really early. But yeah, I've shared that before on the channel. And he has another chart here. This looks new. I don't know if that's like, I don't know what that is actually, but I'll have to take a look at that. Oh, maybe that's like reserve wallet tokens or something like that.
Okay, right.
But yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'll definitely have to check that out.
So, well, so I guess, how did you get started just on your channel? What made you start your YouTube channel?
The reason why I started the YouTube channel was that it was an easy way for me to help educate my kids. I'm 54 years old. My oldest is 29. I have 4 that go down to from 29 to 17 years old. And then a lot of nieces and nephews. And then I have a lot of cousins, my first cousins, second cousins, lots of family, and a lot of friends. And so I figured the best way for me to teach about cryptocurrency would be to start a YouTube channel. And I had a regular YouTube channel already because I do motivational speaking, and starting a new channel that was just focused on crypto, I felt would be the better way to go so that all my friends and family could come there and learn all the basics about crypto so I could get them up to speed and allow them to experience some of the gains that I'm experiencing from being involved in crypto, which started in 2017.
Gotcha. You have a fan here, actually. This is Coin Daddy. Welcome, Cryptopro. I found your channel through OMI months ago.
Wow, that's cool. Shout out to Coin Daddy. What's up, man? What's up?
And I bet Coin Daddy was actually
the crazy video I did, which was just completely off the cuff. I did a video using my Galaxy Tab. It was after I had been on the VeVe app for 1 month. And I was planning on doing this big introductory video to tell everybody about the VeVe app. And I thought, well, let me just shoot this little introductory video and just talk real quick to tell everybody, okay, I've been messing around with this thing. I'm making money. It's really hot. Be looking out for more videos. And so it was entitled VeVe, an app that can make you rich. And so I spent maybe 12 minutes just screenshotting through the VeVe app. Well, that thing has gotten like 40,000 views and hundreds of comments that I can't even keep up with. And I only average 100 to maybe 1,000 views per video on my standard videos. And that thing went like a wildfire. So a lot of people discovered my channel because of that video.
Oh, that's amazing. When was this?
Back in March, I believe, because it was late February when I first started. So it was either, I think early April might be the date when I shot that video. And it's still getting comments, it's still getting likes, and just happened to hit the algorithm just the right way. Now I've had a few that, you know, were fairly successful. I had a 10,000, a 9,000, and several 2,000 to 3,000 since then, but nothing like that first one. So it was just a timing issue. I think that it was early on. I happened to hit it right when it was exploding, and so that video just went viral.
Gotcha. Wow. So you told me a little bit kind of before we got on together, like a little bit about yourself. Can you just tell us kind of who you are, you know, your life experiences, what you've done? Yeah.
Well, I was born at a very, very young age. Okay. That was a joke. You're supposed to
like a dad joke.
Thank you very much. So I was born in 1967 in Chicago. At 6 years old, my family moved to Jefferson City, Missouri. So I'm in the middle of the whole country. And I always loved math and science. And so I set off to become an engineer. So I went to engineering school at the University of Missouri, right up the street in Columbia, Missouri. So Mizzou Tigers, go Tigers. And got my engineering degree. And so while working in my engineering career, and I'm a civil engineer, I'm also into doing anything and everything. I love entrepreneurship and different ways of making money. And so I'm involved in marketing. I had a phone repair business. I had a t-shirt business. I've done everything under the sun. And so I worked for the state for 29 years and I retired, and it's been 2 years I've been on my own. So now I have my own engineering consulting business, and I provide consulting for 6 very large manufacturing facilities. And the coolest one manufactures parts that go on the F-18 Silent Eagle warplane. So I kind of help them out with their air pollution emissions, with hazardous waste, with OSHA standards, waste reduction, efficiency, all that kind of stuff. And then I also get into, I've got a marketing business. I have a vitamin supplement business. I just do everything. And so cryptocurrency is one of my biggest obsessions. And that all started from when I got involved in trading penny stocks on the OTC BB back in 1999. So you know about the dot-com bubble, right? Yeah. Whenever all the tech stocks went bananas. And then that bubble burst in the year 2000. Well, before the bubble burst, I had discovered penny stocks. And I don't even remember who the friend was that got me started. So as I dug into that, the penny stocks will give you gains like what you see in crypto, where you can have an overnight 10x. And I started to learn technical analysis because I was picking up on other people getting into TA to predict when a particular stock was about to explode, or to watch the signals to know when to get out or when to jump in. So after the dot-com bubble burst, I stopped doing that. And then I knew that the stock market runs on 13-year major cycles. So I said, note to self, let's come back in 2013 and revisit this, because the penny stock market would heat up again, which it did. So I started blogging about it, and you can still see on my blog, it's carltonzone.com, and I had a section for stocks. I started writing about penny stocks again, and I kind of dabbled, and then I lost interest. Well, somewhere way back then, I had dabbled into looking into the cryptocurrency thing, but I lost interest. And the first memory that I have about Bitcoin, it was at about $1. And I thought this would be cool to try this out and kind of play with it. And I wanted to look into Bitcoin mining. It seemed cool. I had a 486 computer at the time. It was very nerdy back then. Only the nerdiest of nerds would talk about Bitcoin or get involved in it or buy it. It was very clunky. It was hard to understand. There was no such thing as fancy GUIs, none of that. And I lost interest because I figured, well, if I get this Bitcoin stuff, there's not much I can buy. So I'll leave it alone. Now, when I came back in 2013 and saw the price, I was like, oh my God, wow, maybe I should have stuck with that. But penny stocks is where it's at. So then I backed away again. And then in 2017, I saw what was going on with Bitcoin. I was like, dear God, how did I not stick with this? And when Bitcoin had hit 6,000, that's when I thought, I got to jump back into this. So I discovered altcoins and I thought it's too late for Bitcoin. Let's look at altcoins as I want the penny stock gains. So that's when I started trading altcoins. And then I remember the day that I discovered that the TA on cryptocurrency works just the same as it does on the stock market. And I don't know why I did not realize that right off the bat. But the fact is, TA works because it's the study of human nature and how we have these waves of contagion that influence our decisions in buying and selling. And then when you run the math, things happen like the Fibonacci sequence that is a mathematical representation of these waves of emotional activity and contagion, like crowd contagion. And all you have to do is think lemmings. You ever seen the videos where the one lead lemming runs over the cliff and then the thousands follow right behind them? That's similar to trading and the emotional contagion that happens, which is something that leads to these crazy patterns that are formed that show up in technical analysis. So that's how I got started in TA, and that's what brought me to VeVe, because I started taking an interest in NFTs, and I noticed that the VeVe app was the easiest way to jump into NFTs without having to understand what an ERC 721 token was, or how these things would operate on the Ethereum blockchain. All you had to do was buy some gems, pretty easy, and then you get this cool thingy, and you can even set it up where you can look at it in real life in AR. So I thought, well, that's really cool. Then when I noticed that the price was exploding, that's when it just went crazy. And so thinking back then, it was Josh Tran, JT, shout out to JT, who is the up and coming crypto accountant. He's in the process of becoming a CPA. Young man lives down in Louisiana. And he drugged me through step by step, explaining everything, because we were going at a frantic pace. Like, he's like, Carlton, we got to do this right now. We got to buy these things. Look at this crazy VeVe app. And I'm like, I don't get it. It was so fast and so crazy. I had to ask JT 1,001 stupid questions. And thank God he was patient enough to drag me through and make me understand how it all worked. So then that's where I started and got my experience. And now I waste an incredible amount of time working and building my life around the drops, and also, of course, looking at the TA on the OMI token. So I hold 1,024,000 some odd OMI tokens, which I'm very happy with. I'd love to have maybe 2 to 5 million, but I'm happy with at least having that. I got in back in, I think I bought the token in late February at 0.0026 and 0.0028. So my DCA price for getting the two loads is 0.0027. And when I purchased, it was on Bit4X. And when I made that first buy, it took 10 hours because I had to get the USDT, send it to Bit4X. Traffic was super high. ETH gas fees were insane. And so we learned a trick where you could send your USDT on the TRC20 blockchain instead of the Ethereum blockchain, and your fee would be $1. But it took 10 hours to get that money over there, and it took an hour to fulfill that order. And then on the second load, it took 3 hours. And I remember sweating bullets waiting for those orders to fill because I knew it was critical. I just had to get in. So that's kind of how I got to where I am right now.
Wow, I think I heard of that trick, the TRC20 trick.
Yes.
But I've never kind of done it. I've just always accepted like, okay, I'm just going to get ripped with fees, sending all my money over here. And I don't know. I guess that's just the tax you pay to kind of get into crypto, right? To get those.
I refuse to pay the Ethereum tax. I look for every possible way. Check this out, everybody. This is my Oklahoma mug. That's just for Daniel. I brought this out just for him since I'm on his show today. We looked for every way possible to avoid ETH gas fees because after buying and selling on what I call Uniswap, I had a yield farming disaster. I got tricked into someone cleaning out my entire MetaMask wallet once. And then I also got tricked into downloading a fake version of Uniswap when I was going on vacation and gave up money again. So I lost a total of about $1,600 because of Uniswap. And after I lost that last 2 ETH, it was when ETH was $400 per coin. I lost 2 ETH. I said, that's it. No more Uniswap. I'm done. I'm done with ETH gas fees. No more. So we started buying using the Hotbit exchange, which is a garbage exchange. But Hotbit has the ERC20 wallet and the TRC20 wallet. So does KuCoin. So when you want to buy certain projects or send money back and forth, we use, say, Binance, KuCoin, and Hotbit, and we can send back the USDT for $1 per transaction and no ETH gas fees. So I'm waiting for some of these layer 2s to come around. I'm waiting for Immutable X and having alternatives to wasting all the ETH gas fees because I'm just too cheap. I'm way too cheap.
You know, I feel like crypto is a little bit too complicated. I mean, I know it has to be this way in a sense, but I have a disaster as well. I've kind of talked about it, but my only disaster I've had, thankfully I only lost $1,000, but I sent USDT and I was kind of tired. I woke up in the morning, had my coffee, and I just sent my USDT from Coinbase into it was my OMI wallet. On Bit4X. So that just destroyed that. I mean, I don't know where it goes to. I don't know why it disappears, but it just does. And so that was like, I just felt that stab in my stomach. Like, oh my gosh, I can't tell anyone.
Been there, done that. I was watching your video where you're talking about the yield farming on, I don't remember which coin it was. It's
Illuvium?
Yes. And I appreciated that. That was a great video. And for anybody that's looking to learn about yield farming, watch Daniel's video that he did. That was a great video on Illuvium. But I had a yield farming disaster experience, but it was worth the $300 I lost because it was a great learning experience.
Sure. Yeah.
But as you said, crypto is very complicated and we're in the early stages. And the reason why I'm so bullish about OMI and OMI is because the VeVe app is the Coinbase of NFTs. Nobody has made a user experience that is as simple as what we have with the VeVe app. Coinbase revolutionized the on-ramp for people that are simple-minded and don't understand the complexities of cryptocurrency. And so now the OMI team has done the same with the VeVe app. So anyone that's looking to get into the NFTs, I tell them, hey, download VeVe and just find some stuff that's fun and start playing around with it.
Yeah, I think I wish I got into more the collectible side. I mean, I've been talking about OMI a lot for the past 3 months, but I never talk about the collectibles kind of because I kind of don't understand it. And I don't know what is a good investment, but I hear you told me that you've actually made a killing on some of these collectibles.
Yeah.
Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Well, what happened was when we first got into this, there was items sitting in the market like the Todd McFarlane Batman, right? And it was $89.99 retail. And I remember thinking, that is the coolest looking thing I've ever seen, but I'm not going to buy it because it's not going to sell out and it's just a common and they have too many of them. So I was buying a lot of other stuff. We were buying things not having any idea of what was about to happen. So then a month later, we started noticing that people were flipping these things on eBay because, again, there was no market. And so we had a lot of these items that we bought in late February, early March, stuff that was sitting on the market from November of 2020, right? Items from the first drops that would sit for months, weeks, or days before they would sell out. And I remember me, JT, and Adam over in the UK. He's a wild man, Adam Durabi. We would sit up on Telegram and I'd get a message from JT, Carlton, the Stellinas are about to sell out. There's only 160 left. And then me, JT, and Adam would jump on the app and just start buying like crazy. And he's like, how many should we get? I'm like, I don't know. You know, they're only $12.99 or $15.99. Let's just keep buying until they're gone. And so we would buy 20 and just plow it down. So we ended up with our collections where we had 10, 15, 20 or more of certain items. And then we discovered eBay. And these things were selling for 10 times the price on eBay. Like buying a Starfire because it looked cool for $69.99. And there it is on eBay selling for $1,500. And I jumped on eBay. I thought, well, let me try this out because I'm an eBay veteran for 20 plus years. I used to sell computer parts on eBay. So it's very easy for me. And I have a good reputation on eBay. And I thought I can beat other people at this game because I have more clout on eBay. So I started listing these things on eBay. And within, I'm thinking 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, I made $8,800. Wow. Flipping these things on eBay. I'm paying off bills. I paid off my entire investment from, I think I had bought 250 items up until that point. And I broke even on my initial investment and used that money to buy even more. And then the market opened on the app. And that cut into the eBay action, but for a while it was still going because people were so used to going to eBay to find things because they were used to following their favorite sellers. So for 2 or 3 more weeks, I kept selling. And at the end of it, I sold like over $12,000 worth of these on eBay. And I think that by the time I hit 300 items, I had paid off my original investment. I bought a car. I bought a car from my partner with another business. I own an auto body shop. And then the real estate in the building, I have a friend who's a medical doctor, and he had an old Lincoln Mark 8 that he wanted to sell me. I said, well, give me a couple of weeks, flipped enough items and went and I bought his car. And it was so cool because as you sold on eBay, the money will go to PayPal. And then all I had to do was jump on the PayPal app and send Alan the money for the car. It was crazy. So at the end of it, I made $12,000. And then at that point, I said I should be able to continue to do this and pay for all of the items that I am getting. And that didn't work out because the eBay sales went bye-bye. And then we had hit the bubble and the prices started to drop drastically. It shook me up and it went down all the way until we hit the Spider-Man drop. And it really scared me because by the Spider-Man drop, I was very disappointed. And I thought, there's too many drops. There's too much dilution. These items will never hold value. And then after Captain America, I was like, oh, that's it. I got to stop this. I got to back up because there's too many things. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong because now the influx of new users is putting more demand than the amount of new items that is flooding the market. And I've said this since last March, that if the rate of the new users coming in would outpace the supply, things are going to get very interesting. So now I'm back to being 100% excited and thinking that the crazy prices are on their way back again. And in the last few days, I've seen a 10x increase on some of the items that I'm holding on the app of the 437 that I have. Yeah, I'm out of control and I'm at the obsessive point. But now I know it's a good investment because when the Immutable X opens up, watch out. Watch out. Prices are going to absolutely explode, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Take your own chances, anybody who's looking into this, but that's just my own opinion.
Yeah. I definitely think once we get on OpenSea, There's a lot of crap NFTs. I'll just be real frank.
Yeah, there
people
are.
buy them
Yeah.
because it's a NFT boom right now. But once we can get these licensed collectibles, these things are going to be worth so much money. I mean, I'm almost kind of stupid to stay on the sidelines. Even I need to kind of get in on this action because I wouldn't sell at these prices. I would be buying at these prices. There might be a little dip once we get the immutable migration, but there's going to be a certain point where this thing just goes parabolic. I mean,
Yes, it will. Yes.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll coach you, and I've got a handful of experts who are obsessed with the items, and we look at stuff and discuss things day and night. We'll all coach you up and tell you what to get when you run your experiment, when you buy your first little collection. We'll help you out on that because we know a lot about the items that are there. And the other thing we discuss is how can you tell which ones are going to be the club bangers, as I like to call them, and which ones that might not get much attention. And then do you go for the club bangers or do you go for the things that got forgotten about? So we've got the strategies in place where we can tell you, don't buy anything other than an ultra rare and a rare on the drop. Because the common and the uncommon are going to dip below the retail value, and then they're going to work their way back up. And some of the rares do that too. But the ultra rare is the one that'll go quickest, and it will double in price after the drop. That's what the standard is. It's very rare that you see a UR not hold its retail value. So we'll be glad to help you whenever you do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think... I kind of really like the comics. I've never really been a comic collector, but just intrinsically, I've always admired comics. And sometimes I forget or I oversleep or something, but I try to get every single comic. And I think the comics, even the commons, are going to be worth something going forward.
Yes.
A lot, actually. Yeah.
I would say my advice to you is never miss a comic drop if possible.
Yeah.
We have a guy in the group, Dr. Strange out of New York City, brought his buddy into our group. I've got like a Telegram group just for discussing the VeVe stuff. This guy got a comic at $6.99. He got the ultra rare. I mean, it was a secret rare, and it was a very low number. Wow. Yeah. You know what he sold that thing for in the market?
Oh, I don't want to know. Go tell us.
$25,000.
Oh, gosh.
Can you believe that?
I can't.
This is like one of the few opportunities in the world that you can have a come up overnight that is of lottery proportions. You can't go scratch lottery tickets and do this. And when you start to get the experience of knowing what items to get or how long to hold, you're going to have your day. You're going to have a major increase in value and make yourself some money. But it is amazing. The comics are the easiest. It's the cheapest. I made a mistake. I got the Incredible Hulk, and I landed the ultra rare and the uncommon. Okay, and so when the ultra rare several days later went from my $6.99 investment to 285 gems, I thought I need to sell this. So it started going down in value. It went down to 235. Then it started coming up, and I was like, all right, don't be greedy, sell it. I sold it for 250 gems, and then I bought other comics off of the market. I figured I'm going to get a bunch of the commons because I'm trying out this experiment of getting tons of the commons in high number instead of the ultra rares or secret rare in low number. Mm-hmm. Well, that same one right now, it peaked at 985 gems 2 days ago. And today I think it's sitting at 770. But the way I look at it is this: I blessed somebody. Somebody is really thankful right now for the fact that they were able to buy that comic for $250. And I'm just thinking, I hope that's a huge blessing in their life. So when you bless others, you'll be blessed yourself. So it's all good.
Yeah. And really, you made quite a good profit. I mean, it's hard to complain.
I did.
I mean,
You can't be greedy. And the comics are fun. I'm reading a couple. I haven't read comics since way back in the old days. And I used to collect a few, and then I got away from it. And so I'm not the expert at comics. And there's a lot of people in my group that know way more than I do about Marvel comics. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to understanding the background and the stories. And if you want to learn about the stories and the interactions and which ones are popular, that's the Gale. The Gale is the man. Yeah. And I watch his videos when I want to get an understanding of just how valuable one of the new comics that could be. He's great at that. So I depend on that, but just otherwise, I just buy them. And so now I've got maybe 30 or 40. And I do have 2 rares and maybe 3 or 4 uncommons and lots of the commons, and the values have just gone up. Nothing has gone down. But imagine this, when the Marvel comic #1 came out, I bought 1 and I thought, this is cool. I'm reading it. It's fun. At least I got $7 worth of entertainment. And then the prices dropped. That sucker was selling for 1 gem on the market. And there were people snapping them up. I'm like, look at that. These things are useless. It's never going to go anywhere. Oh, well, like I said, I got $7 worth of entertainment. One guy bought 100 of them at 1 gem. Today, right now, tonight, it's selling for 70 gems in the market.
That's insane. That's a great return.
Yeah.
And really, I think people were doing that initially because they were really wanting to roll the dice to try to get a secret rare.
Yes.
Statistically,
you're right.
And then trying to get that.
Right.
And then dump it
to get
some of their money
else
back.
for whatever you can get. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a big mistake that was. I really think that there's a possibility that we could see that Marvel comic #1, because it's the first digital NFT version of a Marvel comic book. It could be going for $1,000 on OpenSea. I mean, you just never know. You really don't.
Yeah. I'm going to take some of these super chats, and then there's a question someone has that I think is a kind of a good one. So VeVe Dark Link says, I heard there's going to be a wizard cameo, maybe, and then when wizard. So anyways, here's a question here. Yeah, so I do some intros every now and then, and my latest intro.
The wizard, yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yes, I did. Okay, I thought he meant an NFT. Yes, I want to see another wizard cameo.
To me, what's funny to me is I'll think of these little skits, and I'm like, even if this isn't funny, the fact that someone's going to be watching this, hundreds of people are going to be watching this, kind of cracks me up.
Yeah,
that to me is more funny than the actual cameo itself.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
your videos are the best. I love it. I encourage you to do a lot more of that, and you need to do more impersonations.
Yeah, I need to go back to that. It's like some of them. Because I don't want to be too offensive, and all these skits I do of other people, they're all like from a angle of like respect. I really respect what they're doing. I respect their channel, so I try to keep it really kind of just loose and funnier and not insulting. But it's hard to balance that there. So
you're making me think of the Butt Thompson. I almost spit my coffee out just thinking of your Butt Thompson impersonation.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Did he ever say anything about that? Did he ever comment?
He never did. I don't think he watches my stuff because I've never seen him comment.
Yeah,
and so
that was the best one out of all of them. That was just literally insane. I lost it on that one. Oh man, but keep the entertainment coming.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try, I guess, here. So Cosmos says, ask Cryptopro when he thinks we're going to hit 10 cents on OMI.
Okay. A win is not... Whenever I do my TA, I can kind of tell people what direction that we're going with fairly good accuracy. I must say I'm pretty decent at it. Not right all the time, but I like to project and say what the probabilities are instead of the big mouths on YouTube. You know who they are, the big ones that say, oh, Bitcoin's going to hit 100,000 by October the 15th. And then everyone FOMOs in, it goes the opposite direction. We get wrecked, yada, yada, yada. Instead of that, I like to say, well, the highest probability is for Bitcoin that we might settle to 41 and then shoot to 47. If that doesn't happen, the next likely scenario, we could drop to 37K and then move up. And then the least likely scenario is, say, dropping to a lower level and then moving up. And then I show the evidence on the chart based on the highest volume at a particular price range. It's called the VPVR. It's the volume profile, where the volume comes on the side instead of on the bottom. And so when you use those methods, you can tell the general direction of where it's going. And then using the stochastic cycles, you can tell, are we going to go up for a few days? Are we at a peak? Are we at a bottom and crawling up? And so that's pretty easy for me to do, but I don't like to say when. That's a dangerous thing. If is a better question. Or is it possible to hit 10 cents? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. And I think that 10 cents could happen on a market cycle peak. Like, let's say during this market cycle for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin surpasses 100,000, I think 10 cents is possible during this market cycle. It could go beyond that. Whatever very conservative guesstimate we have, FOMO and the fever pitch with people jumping in can always blow past whatever the normal technical possibility is. But yeah, I think it's possible. Definitely within this cycle, 10 cents or more would not surprise me. So I won't say I would guarantee to everyone, oh yeah, we'll hit 10 cents by this market cycle. But it's very possible that if Bitcoin, when it surges, that we could reach that and go beyond that.
Yeah. Did you catch the Women of VeVe kind of stream with Dan Crothers? I think actually someone asked the question about it. Let me just find her question. It was come above here.
I have not. I want to watch that. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but it's on my watch later. I did click the little save this one for later.
Sure. I guess, well, basically, Omi Queen says, are you guys at all disappointed by VeVeverse possibly not coming out till next year? Cryptopro, do you trade Omi in order to gain more tokens? So it's kind of two questions there. So I
Excellent.
guess
two great questions. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Nah, I wouldn't say I would be disappointed. I would say the longer it takes for the VeVeverse to come out, the better. For me and my family and close friends, I would hope it takes as long as possible so we can just continue to load up on the NFTs, load up items, because when the VeVeverse happens, there is a possibility, a high probability of 5 to 10x increase in price for items, because now we have functionality and something that you can do with these items that's fun and you can interact. Okay, so the longer, the better. Don't focus on them meeting a deadline. Load up and pray that it takes a long time. Now, as far as OMI, the 1,024,000 that I got in the first bag, I will never touch until we, like, you talk $1 and then I'll start an exit strategy. But I'm not touching that until OMI hits $1 or higher. I did start buying a little extra to swing trade. And so I had bought 24,000 extra tokens to buy and sell on the peaks and the troughs. And I got bored and I didn't stick with that, and I need to. If Bitcoin has a major correction, if we dip down to, say, 37K or 19K or, God forbid, 14K, that would be a great thing. Because if we do go down below my entry price, I've told myself, you got to double or triple your bag. Period. And so I should have done that when we dipped to 0.0019. I wasn't paying attention because I was like, well, we're going down. We're going to have a bearish trending trading channel for a while. I'm just going to set it aside so I don't look at it every day and get upset, because I know that this is going to be worth a fortune in the long haul. If we have the opportunity to dip down there again, I'm going to get a massive bag. And then I'll take half of that and I will sell it at, say, monthly or bi-monthly peaks, and then reaccumulate at the bottom in order to increase the bag. So yes, I do swing trade in order to increase the size of positions. One of the best examples that I did with this was with the self-key token, and that symbol is KEY. It was the app and project that I loved the most before VeVe. VeVe is my favorite because it has utility. It does something. Self-Key has a wallet, and you can store things that are vital documents like your driver's license, your credit cards, a passport or whatever, and you can store tokens in your self-key wallet. So I thought, this is cool. And it was only at 0.002 when I first bought it. So I got a couple $100 worth of it. It went up. I sold it at a peak, made 440. I waited. I let it go down. I bought back, and then it hit another massive peak. And one day, that $440 was worth $5,700. But I missed the peak by 2 hours, and I thought, oh man, I got to unload this. So I sold it on the way down and cashed that out for $2,300. So I've been sitting on that USDT to this day. It's been months. It was during that spring peak, and I sold that off. So as soon as we dip down to about 0.006, guess what? I'm buying it all back again, because I am rolling over that money, and this time I'll get 1 million tokens and then ride it to the market cycle peak. So that's what I plan on doing with OMI. Great question. Thank you for asking so much.
I want to add on to that, but let's take a couple of comments here that I think is funny. Do you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I did. I know what they're going to say. I know what they're going to say.
I didn't want you to get upset.
I look like Gustavo.
Okay.
I look like Gus.
So positive thing from Mommy Queen. She says that Cryptopro has the perfect radio voice, and actually, I agree. Do you have voice training, or is that just your voice?
Well, that I get that a lot. It is my natural voice, and my father was a career lifetime musician, and I sing, and so that is a great compliment. Thank you very much. My voice is raspy today, and it sounds terrible, and I'm congested. So to hear that today, thank you very much. That makes me feel a lot better.
And then, of course, this is the actual joke here, which Justin says, no, this guy manages a Los Polos chicken restaurant and is secretly a meth king. I want to pull up a
Watch
picture.
out, fella, or I'll have you whacked. I'm going to track your IP address. Oh, my God.
I think it's flattering because, you know, he's handsome, you're handsome. I mean,
yeah, he's a good-looking guy, and I was always a fan of his. Funny story on that. I went to a restaurant once 5 years ago, and one of the waitresses came up to me and said, "You're him, aren't you?" And I was like, "Who's him?" She said, "You're the actor from Breaking Bad, aren't you?" And she was from the country of Colombia. And I said, "No, I'm not." She goes, "I know you're him, and you just probably don't want to say it so you don't get mobbed." So then she runs and gets all her coworkers and says, "Oh my God, Gustavo Fring is here." And she grabs her friends. She says, "Take my picture, take my picture." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm him." So I take a picture with her. She's just going bananas, shares it on all her social media. I'm like, oh my God. It was great. I had a friend at work who looked like Heisenberg, and so we were considering going out for Halloween and playing.
Yeah, no, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Pollo's chicken. Los Pollo. It's good stuff.
So I on a more serious note, I guess the question is, you know, there's clearly whales in this market. I don't know if you've seen it or anything like that. And there's a lot of speculation that they sell off, they rebuy. I don't really have a lot of solid evidence, just very circumstantial evidence. Mm-hmm. But what can you tell us about that? What's, you know, because you talked about a strategy of just accumulating. Can you tell us about what you think about whales, and then how we can also take advantage of those movements, those price movements?
Well, I'll answer that in two parts. The first part is the one thing we had to consider last year was when the people who were on the original project team that had a lot invested in the project, they were given tokens as a way of being paid, which I believe is a normal thing that startups will do. And so when they're given those amounts, they are restricted for a certain period of time before they're allowed to sell, to protect the integrity of the token. And I think it was I think it was May 31st was the first expiration for those people that held the tokens from the original project team. And so as long as they've been on board and probably struggling, not getting rich because it's a startup and they're not profitable, they're allowed to sell after that restriction, after that time period. And so we noticed that the price started going down at that point. And a lot of people got upset, oh, the whales are dumping, or why would they dump, and blah, blah, blah. But when you look at it from a standpoint of, if you're struggling financially and pushing for a project and you're waiting just to break even or to pay yourself back for all that hard work, and that date comes where you're allowed to sell a portion of your bags, I think it's fair to say, yeah, those people deserve to sell and to recoup some of their money. And so my thought was, wait it out. The thing is going to go down for a while. And that's when I just turned it off. And then at one point I said, well, let me grab a little bit so I can swing trade it. But while some people thought of it as a conspiracy theory and started feeding the whole, this is a scam, they're just drawing people in to dump their tokens and then they're going to disappear and the project is going to be gone, it's going to close. That was all nonsense. And we just have to understand that this is how projects go. It's part of the evolution of a project. And so now I do watch the movement of whales, maybe not so much as like with the OMI token, but I'll watch and try to follow along with what the institutional investors are doing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, all of the top projects. Like, who is BlackRock investing in? Who are these people that are the major institutions? Where are they securing their bags for their portfolios? And then you try to mimic their movements and follow when they're buying or when they're selling. And that VPVR that shows the volume spikes on the side of my charts when I do the TA, that represents the bulk of the trading at particular prices, where it's the institutions that are buying and selling massive amounts. So I use those clues to help guide me on buying and selling.
Wow. Okay. So how could like someone like I don't know, me, just someone who knows a little bit but not a whole lot about TA, how can we kind of accumulate more or swing trade? What's kind of your basic thought process?
My basic thought process is watch the stochastic cycles. In fact, I can pull up Bitcoin and I can show you what this means. A real easy example where we're going to look at the 1 day chart, and then we're going to look at the 1 week chart for Bitcoin. There's the OMI. Let me know if you have Bitcoin on your screen. Are we projecting now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we are.
Let you talk about this. I need to do something with my daughter real quick, but why don't you just go through this and I'll be right back. 2 minutes.
Okay, gotcha. I'll take it from here. So here we are with Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. And what this little middle section with the purple background, this is the stochastic cycle. And it has 2 lines. There's an orange line and a blue line. And the blue line is called the %K, and the orange line is called the %D. And those are the stochastic oscillators. So whenever price moves up, the stochastic peaks. And when price moves down, the stochastic takes a dive. Now, in a perfect world, the stochastic would basically make a perfect sine wave. And let me show you what that would look like. A sine wave would be like this, starting at the bottom, going to the top, like a sound wave, okay? Or like in electricity, that would be a perfect stochastic cycle. But we can see on this chart that the stochastic is not always perfect. Sometimes we come up here to this top zone and we bump around and stay up here. Sometimes we chop all the way down or take a double dip on the bottom zone. But for the most part, we can track the price movements by looking at the stochastic and also what's downstairs here, which is the MACD. Now, for swing trading, what I do, I will buy and I'll hold for days, weeks, or months. Usually it's weeks to months when I'm swing trading. And that means I'm buying at a regional low point and selling at a regional high point. And to look at that, we've got to go to the 1 day chart. So here's Bitcoin on the 1 day chart. And what I always tell people to do for swing trading is to look at where the price is corresponding to the stochastic spikes and the dips. So when the stochastic was peaked out here and stayed up here in the overbought zone, which is above this 20 line, here was our peak price. Then it went down, and at the dip, here is the low point. The next peak here, we had a higher high. The next dip, we had a higher low. So the overall trend was going up. I always tell people never buy into a run. This is not when you buy. You want to buy when a token is in its dog days, when it's going down or laying low and everybody is sad and upset, because that's where you have the potential for the biggest gains. So this is where you should have been buying Bitcoin, all right? Not after it breaks out and then peaks. So these stochastic peaks can tell you, the stochastic tells you where you are in relation to the overall market cycle. Now, I'm going to clear this and I'm going to show you Bitcoin on the 1 week chart. And then you're going to be able to see, whoops, I just copied that. What I'm talking about as far as the positioning of where it is. So here we go. There's the 1 week chart. And now we got to zoom this out, scrunch this down. Here's all the action where each candle is 1 week of time. Notice where we are right now. We're coming off of a stochastic peak. So what's my best guess as to where Bitcoin is going right now? Who wants to guess? My best guess is it's going to go down. Now, it's not guaranteed, but I want to buy when the stochastic is down here, not when it's up here. So again, look where that stochastic is. These peaks happen at the high prices and these dips happen on a low. So if we're up here at a peak, there's a chance that the stochastic will cycle all the way down. It has to come down at some point. And then I want to buy when we're down here somewhere, wherever it might be, either here around, say, 29, or it could be down at 19, or it could be at 37. I want to buy when the stochastic is down here, okay? Because then I know that what's coming next is the cycle up. And then that's when price will come up and I can take profits at that point. So that's kind of how I do my swing trading. And yeah, okay. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, let me just remove that part here. Okay, so you know, I use like RSI, and I noticed you use like the stochastic a lot. What's the real difference? I know it's similar in some ways.
Yeah, it is. What I think there is a difference. It's hard to explain mathematically. They're very similar. They are oscillators, and oscillators are all in the same grouping, just like you have the oscillators on the MACD. And what it is for me, why I use the stochastic so much, is that I've been using it since 1999.
Okay.
And I'm so used to understanding the correlation between the stochastic and price, where I'm not as good at that with the RSI. And the RSI, because I don't understand the nature of that beast, I'm not as good at predicting price movements based on it, where you might be, because you're used to seeing that correlation every day. So that's the only difference, really.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah. So where do you see, from a fundamental level, where do you see like OMI and VeVe going, like in the future, just from a fundamental
analysis? To the freaking
analysis?
moon, to Saturn, Pluto, Uranus. Well, hopefully it doesn't go to Uranus, but I think we can't even fit in our minds what is possible with this. I really don't. It scares me to think how much this market can expand because of the fact that humankind is in the era of digitizing our entire reality, our whole existence. Everything is digitizing, and VeVe is involved in something that can benefit from that. For all of the things that they can get into that even goes beyond NFTs, I'm just afraid to think of how big that it could really get. It makes me nervous thinking about it, honest to goodness. And that's not a shill. That's not fluff. I think I'm going to look back on this 5 years and say, oh my gosh, if I had only known how big this was going to be. I have a fear that it's going to be like my thoughts that I have about when I started looking into Bitcoin way back in the 2000s.
You know, I'm glad you said that because I have a very similar Bitcoin story. I started looking at Bitcoin in the middle of 2013. I decided to, use some money I had. I had some loans I actually took out, and I put it all into Bitcoin. And back in those days, you had to go to Mount Gox. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
like a Japanese exchange used to sell like Magic the Gathering cards. And the long story of it short is that I couldn't hold. It was too crazy. I just didn't know where it was going. But I was very bullish on it, even though I sold out of my positions. I was very, very bullish on it. And I've said to viewers before that the way I feel about OMI is the exact same way I feel about Bitcoin. And back in those days, I was too overextended. I had to sell out. But now I'm in a position where I can just let it ride because I'm really bullish on it. I feel the same way about Bitcoin. So I'm glad that there's someone else who remembers Bitcoin and also back in those days and thinks this exact same way. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same wavelength. It's good to hear you thinking the same thing. I think you're right.
Yeah. At least I hope I'm right.
Yeah. I don't think we have to depend on hope. I think it's a foregone conclusion, barring something just ridiculous happening, like a zombie outbreak. I think we're in for what do you call it? Since we missed out on Bitcoin at $1, this would be our chance. Retribution? Would you call it that? What's the word?
I don't know.
This is me and you. For me and you, this is our second greatest chance at massive gains since we missed out on Bitcoin back in the beginning. I think this is the best second chance we'll ever get. I would have to say that of all the tokens that I hold, all the projects, I really do feel like the biggest gains are going to come from this. And I'm holding everything from Litecoin, Solana, Chainlink. I've got probably a couple hundred different projects that I'm holding. But I'm most excited about this one. This one is the one that keeps me up at night like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years? So
we have a great donation from CoinDaddy, $10. Great question here. Cryptopro, I heard your potential price of OMI for next year and experience from stock market. What are your thoughts on an incoming bear market? Do you believe a bear market is soon this year?
Okay, CoinDaddy, I do not believe these people who think that we have had a blow off top already and that the market cycle is done. I don't believe that. Thus far, every market cycle for cryptocurrency has increased in length. I think that's a natural progression. If the blow off top was the end of the cycle last March, it would have been the first time ever that the cryptocurrency market cycle has decreased. I don't believe that. Each market cycle, the full cycle going through the 4 stages, they're similar, but they have differences. And I think this is the first one that will have a significant double peak. And so I think right now we could be in for a pretty big dip where I'm thinking we're going to go down from here for a few days. And then there could be a spike up to like 47K and one more capitulation where the possibilities are going back to 37K, 27K, worst case scenario 19, and of least probability, but possible 14K, because that would represent the size of the drop that we had. I think it was 2013. One of the corrections, we had a drop that big. But even if we drop that low, it does not mean that we completed the entire cycle and the bull run is over. We could go to 14K and it still fits the chart that would have us having a market cycle peak in late winter. Like we're talking December or January. Some people think it could be as far as like January or February for a market cycle peak. That's my belief, and I'm going to roll with that. In fact, I hope we get a massive correction because it's like rolling the clock back and getting a second chance at picking up all the projects, the tokens and the coins of the things that you missed on the last run. And I've done this before. And so I have a game plan where I decided as we correct, I start collecting. So when Bitcoin hit 40,000 a few days ago, I bought a bunch of these micro cap projects and I got like 1 or 2 Solana. I got, say, 10 Chainlink or just a certain amount, a small sliver. If we dip again and go to 37, I do another little buying spree. If it goes to 29, I do it again. If it goes down to 19, I do it again. And that way, I am dollar cost averaging and lowering my entry price as we go instead of unloading the bank account and buying all in right now. You can't predict the bottom. It's very hard to do that. But if you dollar cost average, then you increase your chances of your biggest overall gains and then have an exit strategy and say, I'm going to sell chunks as it hits certain levels. So that's how I'm going to play it. And that's what I believe about the market cycle. The best is yet to come.
You know, I listen to a lot of people who talk crypto, who talk about like the market cycles. And my intuition is I think that's true. Mm-hmm. But also logically, it's hard for me to believe it because just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. That's kind of actually illogical thinking.
True.
And, you know, we have so many different things happening now that just didn't happen even in 2017, 2018. We have companies like MicroStrategy buying up Bitcoin.
Right,
you know,
right.
Elon Musk, the Twitter thing where they're going to introduce Bitcoin. Like these are things that we dreamed about in 2013, 2012.
You're so right. You're so right.
And so for me, it's I secretly have, or it's not a secret, but my belief is that we won't have a bear market when everyone is calling a bear market. Like I don't think going into February 2022 we will enter a bear market. But you know, I could be wrong. There's a lot of smarter people than I that talk about this, but that's just my belief. You know, if it's wrong, it's wrong, but that's just my personal belief.
Well, you said it right. Bitcoin is not going to do what we expect it to do. It evades our ability to predict it. And that's why you see all the big mouths, the big folks with the hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. They make all these bold predictions and they come to pass. And that's why we see when 90% of everyone is shooting off their mouths on YouTube saying Bitcoin is about to explode right now and everybody's just all jumping in on everything. What happens? A correction happens. Or when people think we're absolutely in the bull run, everything is looking good, unload the wagons of money that you have, invest in everything, and oh, we'll never see another $40,000 Bitcoin. Whenever you hear people talking like that, and it's the general consensus, prepare yourself because there will be a correction. Happens every single time.
Are you still accumulating now, or do you plan on waiting a little bit?
Well, I'm waiting a day or two for this 4-hour stochastic cycle to complete because there are certain projects right now that are so close to their absolute bottom that I can buy. Where there's other projects like, say, maybe, I don't know if it's Solana or what I was looking at, where they're coming down, but it could go down to here. So projects like where Bitcoin is right now, if it dips to 40, it could go way down. So I'm not going to get a lot of that. But certain projects, if their all-time low was here and they're kind of coming back down to that all-time low, I know it can't go much lower than a certain base amount. So I'm going to accumulate those and then set it and forget it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's good stuff here. Coin Daddy says, thank you, sir. I actually think that was a great answer, a really honest answer. I feel like that's just honestly your opinion. You're not trying to fool us. Like, I mean, sometimes I get frustrated. Do you ever watch like BitBoy Crypto?
I do. I watch him all the time. I love his show, but they're shillers. And it makes me sick. And when I say the big mouse on YouTube, I'm talking about Crypto. I'm talking about Altcoin Daily. Altcoin Daily is great. And he does great videos, but look at the titles. While Bitcoin is like taking a nosedive, he'll put out a video that says, Bitcoin to hit 150,000 in the near future. I'm like, why are you talking about that right now when people are shaking in their shoes because Bitcoin just went down 30%? You know, and the reason why they do that is because they want to make money with their Bybit links, with their YouTube views, or so people can buy into their monthly secret private group where we give you the tips to get rich. And I don't have any of that. I'm happy now that I get maybe 50 to $100 from AdSense views, but I don't have any Bybit things to shill. I'm not making money from it. I'm just doing it because I like to do it. I don't have time to turn it into money. And then, you know what? I don't want to sell my soul to the devil and be in this making videos to make money, because then I'm going to be dishonest just like the rest of them, because they have to shill. They have to do that. They've got employees. They've got a business model where they have to turn this into revenue. And I don't want any part of that. I want to make money on crypto and be the regular guy. Well, what I'm telling you, you know it's the truth, and that there's no hidden agenda, because I'm just trying to make some money because the kids need shoes. So if you hear me saying anything, just know that I'm telling you what I'm doing myself, and there's no hidden agendas there. So.
Yeah, I you know, even me, like I feel like I have like 48 going into 4,900 subscribers, and even I feel the pressure, because I know that if I make a video that says something like, why OMI truly is going to go to $1, that gets a lot of views.
Yeah.
It just, I'll get 30% more views just by having a title like that, no matter what I talk about. And I did a lot of those videos back in the day when things were really, really low, just to kind of keep people motivated to see beyond just what it's doing right now. But you know, I kind of cringe a little bit doing any more of those, because, you know, there comes a point where I am just doing it for my own benefit, for my own like profit, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I'm glad that I can still kind of, at least I'm small enough that I can still say my opinion without being too biased. You know, if I make a good video, I might get $80 from that video. Like that's not enough for me to sell my soul, you know?
Yeah. There's something to be said for that. There is a peace knowing that you don't have to be so careful because there's a gazillion people watching the videos, and somebody will do something stupid, or someone will accuse you of some conspiracy theory. But your days are numbered, because you're not going to be at 5,000 long. I'm predicting that you're going to be probably one of the next big things in this space as far as YouTube content creators, because your research is great. You're very unbiased. You're very objective. Your presentation skills are outstanding. And I love the content. In fact, I thought when I saw your first video, I thought, wait a minute, this has got to be fake. How does this guy who's this good come out of nowhere? He must be paying people to watch him, or have they hired this guy, or is he a paid actor? He's too good. He's too smooth. And so then as I started watching, I'm like, he's for real. He's just that good. But I honestly thought that. I thought that when you first started posting.
I mean, I remember some of my early videos. I'm like, man, these videos are crappy. They're so bad. I mean, just inwardly, like I felt that way. But that means a lot, honestly, because I feel like even in 3 or 4 months, the channel has come a long way. And I'm very appreciative for the viewers and people like you coming on and talking and stuff.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself going forward from, like, what are your financial goals? Like, I like to talk about that, because my goal is to not be working a 9 to 5 for the rest of my working life. I would like to do something else, pivot pretty early if I can.
Well, now that I'm like on my own and I'm retired and I have a successful engineering consulting
you're retired.
business.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I say retired, but I work more than I did when I was working a job. But the good thing is, you know, I made $25 an hour working for the state, and the state of Missouri is the lowest paid in the nation for our state workers. And after 29 years of learning, the info that I have and what I'm able to do is very valuable. So now I charge $200 per hour for what I do. And so it's a lot better. And it took being poor for 29 years to get that to that point where what I know is valuable enough that I can charge that. But now what my goal is I want to like pile up enough security that I can pass on to my kids and my grandkids. I've got 2 grandbabies thus far, and they live in Texas. And so we come through Oklahoma. One of these days I'm going to have to stop by and see you.
Yeah.
I want to educate them and then leave something where I will be secure in knowing that they'll have a better life than I had. My granddad had a 6th grade education, and he was a carpenter, and he lived a very hard working life and was born and raised in Mississippi. And then my dad started out with no running water and electricity in Mississippi, and then he went on to get nearly to a doctorate degree and was a career master musician. He worked hard, but did better than Grandpa. And so he worked very hard to make sure that me and my brothers and my sister would have a better life, which he did. Both my mom and my dad did that. And so now I worked very hard, but I didn't have it as hard as my dad did. And then my entire goal is that I can make it even better for my kids and my grandkids. And so having a few $1 million in securities would be nice to pass down to the kids, along with the knowledge, so that they can take that and continue to grow it and pass down throughout the generation. So that's my goal.
So I guess for my own family goals, I haven't really thought about it too much, but I grew up with a really good upbringing, and I was very spoiled. I was an only child. Anything I wanted, I had as a child. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that really spoiled me, and I basically threw a lot of it away.
Wow.
And, I had to work, like I joined the military, and I had to work back up to a level of I was able to pay for my own school again. And I kind of have this fear that if I pass on significant wealth to my children, that they're just going to blow it like I did. So do you have any thoughts like that they,
Yes, I absolutely do. Absolutely. That's a fear of mine, that if I made so much that it would not be respected, where they wouldn't understand the work that was done, if they could not conceive of like what I do, staying up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. every night, the average bedtime, and studying day after day after day, listening to YouTube videos, podcasts, reading, and constantly in learning mode. The fear is that if I hand it off and they don't have the education to respect that they will lose it. And so that is a goal where I've identified one of my 4 kids. My youngest is the most like me, and he's a complete techno nerd. He wants to be an engineer, and he understands crypto. He's dabbling in trading. He knows the most. And so I said, Christian, you're going to be in charge of the portfolio. You'll be the boss when it comes to that. He understands it. Now, the others have a slight understanding, but that is a very valid fear. But fortunately, I think my kids are not afraid of hard work, because the 2 that are grown and are working, they work hard. And then I've got one in architectural school at Mizzou right now, and then the senior in high school. And as I think about it, we struggled enough during their upbringing that they know that it doesn't come easy. So it was kind of nice, even though I thought it sucked not being able to give them everything that they wanted. And now I look back to the days where I had to borrow money from my parents when we couldn't meet the bills in a particular month, or there were certain things we couldn't do for our kids and would have to have help from my parents. That was a blessing, because the older 2, they talk about those times. They remember the times when the electric got cut off. And so that was a blessing in disguise. So yes, I do have that. That's a common fear, but I think that my kids are set up for that. And the key to that is giving them fun things for them to work for, where they get a reward, and then learn how to respect that work and have a value to the feeling you get from the hard work and receiving that reward at the end.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I think we have a question here. We can take a couple more or so and then kind of close out. But Cosmos says, when exchanges are going to buy OMI, is this going to create a floor price for OMI? Someone said the reason Dogecoin is not going lower is because exchanges bought at a specific price.
I don't believe that. I'm going to tell you, I'm not an expert in that area, but I kind of tend to not believe that Dogecoin has a a floor because of exchanges buying. I know that they will buy a certain amount for the purpose of liquidity. And that just means when people are buying and selling, is there enough coins to be bought? And then when they want to sell, are there enough buyers that they can sell out and cash it out for USDT? So they will buy a certain amount. And that's what staking is, when you say, I'm going to buy a bunch of coins and set it aside and lock it. So it goes into a liquidity pool so other people can freely go in and out of it. So exchanges probably do that. But I don't know if I would go that far to say that Dogecoin has a floor because of that. It could be true, but I would have to research that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it either to really say.
That's a great question, though. I'll look into that.
So do you have any closing thoughts or anything like that? Anything you want to share with us, the viewer?
Yeah, I would just say thanks everybody who's watching. And this is a great thing. We have a family, and all family is a group of people with very common interests. And this common interest of OMI and the VeVe app creates our family. And it's very rewarding just to get to meet people. I never would have met you had it not been for this. And say for the people that are in my Telegram group and we talk back and forth, or getting to know VeVe Vault, you know, talking to him, getting to know the Gale, talking to Rebel Duck. I can't even, I'm not remembering everybody. There's a whole bunch of them out there that I've met that I talk almost daily, and it's so rewarding. And so I would say, have fun with it. Enjoy the camaraderie of it. Don't get too stressed out. Don't take too big of chances on your investing. Be careful, and don't take life seriously. Look for the positive in everything, and each and every day, abide by my motto in life. You want to know what my motto in life is? And this is not free. I usually sell this for $99.95. That's the only thing that I do charge for. So you can pay me later, Daniel. Here's my motto. You can send me it in USDT. It's very profound. And it took me a long time to come up with this. It's very profound. It's a deep philosophical motto in life. Here it is. Have a good time all the time. That's it. Send your $99.95. Everyone just pay. The people who are going to adopt that, or if you heard it, go ahead and just pay me later. I got that from the movie This Is Spinal Tap. Do you ever see that movie?
No.
Go back and watch it. It's a classic.
I think that's really good advice, though, because, you know, some people, they work really, really hard for years upon years, and like something happens to them. You know, they pass away, or something happens to them that they just didn't anticipate. Yeah. And that work isn't wasted, but in the sense they could have enjoyed more of their life had they.
Amen. Yes.
A bit of both. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's good. Well, I think this was actually a really good stream. I mean, I think that the viewers really enjoyed it. I mean, we had, I think at the peak, 140 some odd people here.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's really good. Well, guys, thank you. And let's thank Cryptopro for just being here. You can check out his channel down below. There's a description down below. Definitely give him a look. Subscribe to his channel. He does a lot of technical analysis and things like that. So thank you for being on here.
Absolutely. And anytime you let me know, I'll pop in and do TA for you. Whatever you would like, I'm ready to serve.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, guys. Have a good, safe Sunday, and have a good week here. Okay, guys? Take care.